Welcome back to Ruhoni Sewing, my dear viewers. Welcome back to another tutorial where this time we are going to make a top with a shoulder princess seam, asymmetrical peplum, and balloon sleeve. I have linked a previous video on how to draft princess seam and how to draft a peplum in the description box below. Now let us get to work. So as usual, we have our straight ruler, pencil, rubber, curved ruler, scissors, tape measure. We have our pattern for the front, back, and the sleeve, as well as our pattern paper. So I just want to let you know that, and I believe you have already observed, with my videos we have different kinds of lights. Okay, when I'm recording in the morning, very early in the morning or evening, I depend on the artificial lights. On the weekends when I'm home, I do this depending on the sunlight, because I do it during the day. I'm working full-time job, and so I'm recording these videos when I get time. So I'm very sorry for that. So let us start. Here I am drawing the design of the sleeve and the peplum. So it is not perfect, but I believe you are going to get the picture of what we are going to sew. So our peplum will be asymmetrical with this simple design. Let me try to draw the back side of this top. So that is our back, and this one here is our front. With our back, the center back, we are going to have a zipper, and towards the end at the peplum we are going to have a slit. So let me show you closely. Okay, this is how our top is going to look. That is our back, and that is our front, and that is our balloon sleeve. So here are the patterns. As you can see, this is our back pattern with the shoulder princess seam, and this is the bottom part of the pattern from the waist to the hip. This pattern was attached here before, separating them. It was connected from the waist, and that is a dart. You can see the continuation of the dart. Yeah, so we are going to separate this pattern. We are going to have also our top with the shoulder princess seam. This is our front, and this part here was the bottom part of the front pattern. It started from the center fold here up to the side seam. You can see the dart, and you might wonder why it is bigger. It is because we had to close the side dart, and that's why this waist dart becomes bigger. And with this one also we are going to separate the pattern. So we are going to have the side front and the center front piece, and the last pattern is our sleeve pattern. So here we have already made a copy of the patterns. Okay, this pattern here is for the back. Okay, and for the front I have made two, this one here and this one here folded at the front. As you can see, I had one piece. When you open up, it will look like that, one piece of the front pattern. So first let me remind you of our top design. This is our back design, and this is our back pattern. You can see we are only going to have the adjustment by closing the dart, only this dart. There will be no other adjustment. So with the closing the dart, remember we cut these lines but not through. We make sure there's somewhere connected, and you close the dart like that. Then after that we draw the waistline to have a smooth waistline, this second line, and then we're going also to redraw the bottom line just like that. After drawing, let us now add the seam allowance all around our pattern. And then let us finish by cutting our pattern. So here there is a bit of correction. As you can see from our design, we are going to have a zip at the center back, and that's why I had to add the allowance, 1 inch allowance for the zipper. Okay, again I added 2 inches at the bottom of our pattern. From the last line or the bottom line of our pattern, I added 2 inches, and I wanted for this piece of the back to have the same height or length as that one of the front. I'll show you exactly what I mean later. Okay, moving on to our front. As you can see here, we have different length for these two pieces, the shorter one here and the longer one. Now to start with the right one. Okay, that is a piece. Here is the pattern, where we only need to close the dart and then add allowance all around. So with this pattern, we are going to sew up to the center front. Okay, it is going, that pattern is going to be underneath or below the left pattern. Now let us move on to our last pattern, the left piece. This one we need to add some inches at the bottom. As you can see, it is longer than the other piece, so we are going to end up somewhere not very far here, and we are going to close this dart. Let me open for you to see clearly. Okay, we are going to go beyond the center front. Okay, as you can see from our diagram, this is where our center front is. Okay, yeah, so we are going to go just a bit beyond it. We are going to start from the dart from here. Okay, so we will close that dart and draw a straight line. We are also going to close this dart. So this is our right piece, the front right piece. Okay, this one, let me show you. From here, you see this one, it is going to end up at the center front right here. Okay, it will end up at the center front. That is our right piece. Now moving on to our left piece, as the one which was double and folded at the center front, you can see I've already closed the darts. Of course at the bottom it is going to open. So let me show you. For this piece, it has gone beyond the center front. Okay, you see that is our center front, and our piece starts here from the dart. Okay, and that's why we had doubled when we were drawing. And because it is longer, I added 2 inches at the bottom, like I did with our back. Okay, and we ended up to the dart, because that's where our piece is going to end. Now it is time to draw the line. As you can see, that line is a bit slanted. You can slant it anyhow you want. I don't want it to be too slanted, but we are going to start from the dart going downwards. So draw the line. After that, let us cut. So let me just show you how it is going to look. As you remember, our right side starts from the center back, center front, so we are putting it underneath. And remember, the top part starts from the dart, but remember we have not yet added the seam allowance, so it is going to be a little bit shorter than the right one. Okay, so that is how it is going to look like. Now let me show you why I added some inches at the back piece of the back pattern, because I wanted it to have the same height. You see how it is going to look like, these two patterns, when we are going to sew. Okay, that is the side seam of the back and the front, and that's how it is going to be. They are going to have the same length. Okay, so now let us redraw the waistline and add allowance. Now I'm sorry for the way it looks, but it is okay. That is our sleeve. It is going to end up at the elbow. Okay, and here are the measurements. The length is going to be 31 and the width is 38. That is the length and that is the width. So for the part of the sleeve, that one here, the balloon part, we are going to join it at the elbow. It is going to have the same width, but we will add some inches because we need gatherings. And for the length, we are going to have 13. We are going to measure from the elbow line going down. And for this part of the sleeve, we do not need a pattern. We are going to cut straight from the fabric. So here are the patterns already. This is our left pattern from the front. That is our right pattern, front right pattern. And that is our back pattern. We are going to have two pieces of this pattern. So moving on, here we have the front pattern. As you can see, I've made a new pattern. I wanted this time to have a deeper neckline. So the side front pattern will remain the same, but the center front pattern, I've just changed the neckline. We are going to have to cut from that line. That is our new now neckline. Okay, and then our back pattern. We have not made any adjustment. We are going to cut straight. And remember, this pattern have added seam allowance. And lastly, we have our sleeve pattern where we are going to cut up to the elbow and not the whole length. It's just to the elbow, and the other piece we are going to cut straight from the fabric. Please watch the next video where we are going to start to sew our top.